Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday morning to you all. Hope you guys are having an awesome start to your day and a great work week out there so far. Almost to the end of it, almost to the weekend. We're all grateful for that. But some active times in the weather world coming up. It really is. Not really today so much, but obviously in this morning's video, we'll focus primarily on today. There's a couple things going on that I want to talk about, including some near record breaking warm temperatures, rain, and then some ice and snow that could be concerning for certain areas in the middle of the country, and we'll talk about that. But also at the very beginning of this video, we're going to touch a little bit on this significant storm system that's going to be moving in Monday and Tuesday of next week. Listen, guys, there's already a 30% risk of severe weather at day 6. That is very alarming. It's basically an enhanced risk at day. It's a 3 out of 5 on the risk level in the Storm Prediction Center, basically. So this is a big deal. This is coming up on us. It's getting really close to the 1 year mark of what happened last year in the Kentucky and Arkansas area with the tornadoes that went through. And very unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have another severe weather event around the same time a year later. It really, really is unfortunate. But, you know, we're going to get detailed about this in the evening videos leading up to this because we got some time to figure it out. But I'll touch on some things right here at the beginning of the video. So if you guys have not subscribed, obviously consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If you notice I sound a little bit different, I'm a little stuffed up. Maybe what the kids got, I'm starting to get a little bit of, but I feel fine. I don't feel that bad. I'm just a little stuffed up. So I might sound a little bit different, but I feel decent. So I'm certainly kicking here, trying to kick its butt. But family, it seems like my little girls are feeling a little bit better, so I really appreciate the prayers on the family. It really goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. And if you guys got anything that I can pray about, pray over, please put it in the comments below so I can pray over it, and so others will too. So let's get rolling here. Trying to clear out my nose a little bit here. But what's going on with the lower 48? It's pretty distinct here. There's a flow going across the south central U.S., across the Ohio Valley. There's a lot of rain in this flow right here, and a lot of warm, moist air rising into the south. So you got not only warm temperatures, but it actually feels a little humid out there. Guys, it is in the 60s out there this morning at my house. I think in and around Dallas and certain areas of Texas are waking up to the 70s. I mean, those are summertime low temperatures. It's just ridiculous, but it just seems like this is the December pattern we have had as of late over the last few years on average. But there's a lot of cold air up here, frigid air up here in the Dakotas, and right here in the boundary where you have a little bit of moisture being tossed up into this marginal cold air, but it's certainly cold enough to see some winter weather. That's what you're getting. It's some ice and some snow that's going to develop in Nebraska and move into Iowa, maybe as far south as Chicago a little bit later overnight. And you certainly have these winter weather advisories in these purples. This isn't going to be a huge event, but I would not be surprised if somewhere in here gets upgraded to a winter storm warning. I'm seeing certain areas in Iowa and maybe Nebraska that could certainly see not only a few inches of snow, but some ice mixed in with that. So that's a nasty combination. That's what you're going to see today. But obviously, the further north you get, you got to get more of winter weather to really make them introduce a warning, like a winter storm warning. Normally, they just drop winter weather advisories for setups like this, and that's because people up here are a little bit more used to the winter weather. Now, if you get about 1 inch of snow in the south, you're probably going to get a winter storm warning, but that's just how it works in the south, much different. But look at all these grays, guys, even more than the last couple of days. A lot of dense fog advisories, a lot of fog out here just due to all this moist air, warm, moist air south of this boundary that has just been kind of meandering right over this area right here. But let's talk about this system next week very briefly, and then we're going to get detailed again tonight, just like we did last night and the night before last. So right now, for Monday, we have a 15% risk. Think of this as a slight risk, a level 2 out of 5 risk at day 5. This is for next Monday. So this is for next week. It just tells you how zoned in they already are on the severe weather risk. But it also tells you that there's some things they need to figure out. But there's incredible agreement on models that there's going to be just a massive system over the middle of the country, a deepening low pressure. This is going to yank in a ton of ingredients for severe weather. So there's a 15% risk here. This includes Dallas up to Oklahoma City, Wichita Falls, Tulsa, everywhere in between. We go to day 7, guys. Day 6. And this is where it gets alarming. At day 6, we have a 30% risk to see severe weather. I know The city or Shreveport is covering up to 30 right here. But this orange right here, this is a 30% risk to see severe weather in 25 miles in a given location. This is pretty significant for day 6. It's basically an enhanced risk, a level 3 out of 5 for day 6. That is telling you they are honking the horn at something significant, severe weather-wise of happening here. So, guys, I'm telling you, even if you're in Mississippi, I know this area doesn't get extended in that area, but certainly if you're in this orange area, even in this yellow area, guys, this is going to be a big event. I really think it is. At day 7, there's nothing right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if a slight risk gets introduced a little bit further east. But for the southeast right now, it looks like the worst is going to be in the western areas of the deep south. But really what you got going on here, we'll briefly go over this and get much more detail tonight, so stay tuned. Is a huge trough digging through here. And what happens here is a low pressure develops, fires off the front range of the Rockies in Colorado. And you see this closed line right here. That's a closed area of low pressure. And this begins to deepen. That's mixed in with just this deep digging trough. This brings in a lot of ingredients pretty far north for severe weather, even for mid-December standards. A lot of low-level moisture. With that low-level moisture, you got these high CAPE levels, and that's the available convective potential in the atmosphere for these storms to really fuel off of. You're going to have plenty of that. And not only that, this is just the mid-levels of the winds. The low levels, you're going to have a screaming low-level jet and a ton of winds in the low levels. And basically, you're going to have changing of heights with these winds, guys. And you're going to have a spin in the atmosphere. So you are certainly going to have a tornado risk along with a damaging wind and potentially for a hail threat. And this continues. And this is just going to be a massive system that might kickstart the beginning stages of a pretty significant pattern change across, at minimum, the central U.S. And eventually, I think it's going to make it to the eastern U.S. here in about, I would say, 9 to 10 days. I really do. But this is going to be a significant system. And I'm not even talking about the winter weather in this video, but it's going to be a significant snowstorm too. But what you're seeing here is CAPE values at the mid-levels, mixed layer. CAPE, my bad, I meant to say mixed layer. But already a lot of CAPE, and this is in the middle of the night in Texas. But as you're getting into Louisiana, southern Arkansas, CAPE values on the global models, this is big in a bad way. That the global models are already symbolizing 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram in CAPE. Usually, you see the global models leading up to these kind of events, and they keep it low. And then when we get to these short-range models, a lot of times they spike it. And that's why a lot of times, 24 to 48 hours before a severe weather event, things escalate quickly and get much worse than maybe what the global models were showing. But in this case, the global models are already showing a ton of CAPE. That's why you have a lot of that 30% risk extended into Louisiana. And I really think there's going to be some nasty weather right in this area right here. But we got a lot to figure out. We got to get into the short range. We really do. But stay tuned with me, guys. There's a lot of other people on weather on the YouTube that do a great job. They really do. But let's talk about what's going to happen today. The southeast, there's already a lot of rain falling in southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, even southern areas of Illinois and Indiana. This will continue to moving through all those states. Eventually, some rain will make its way into northern sections of Alabama and Mississippi, and eventually this will make it into the foothills, the mountains, and Triad, yada, 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 and the Piedmont of the Carolinas, probably into this evening. And just not a very widespread rain, but late this evening, some rain's going to make it all the way into Virginia, West Virginia, the Carolinas, for sure here. But we keep on moving overnight, and just a continuous feed of moisture. We're getting into tomorrow morning. We might be waking up to some storms south of Memphis for sure. As far as rainfall over the next 24 hours, certainly areas could get over an inch, especially in northern Arkansas, with whatever's falling already right now. And basically the entire western half of Tennessee could certainly see a lot of rain, in southwest Kentucky. Maybe a half inch to an inch of rain, certainly possible. The Northeast, pretty quiet day. Not as much rain falling today. Not a whole lot going on unless you're in southern areas of Ohio, with some showers can make its way through. But pretty quiet day, it really is. But as we're getting into tomorrow morning, it could be the beginning stages of some different weather. But we'll talk about that going forward. The south central U.S., you keep getting rounds of rain that moves through. That will be moving out. But then you might get some more showers and maybe even a storm in areas of Dallas a little bit later this evening. But And it's not going to be severe or significant or anything, but maybe in the middle of the night tonight, maybe some more showers begin to develop in northeast Texas, southern Arkansas, maybe far northern areas of Louisiana. But pretty impactful weather day here in the north central U.S., especially if you're in Nebraska to Iowa, southern Minnesota, and those sections. Here comes a little area of low pressure, a little short wave, and all this pink here is probably going to be falling in the form of freezing rain. You got some snow in far western Nebraska, and this will continue. This is why you have those winter weather advisories. A lot of freezing rain moving into areas of northeast Nebraska, starting to move into northwest Iowa. Might be cold enough and more of the middle, areas in the atmosphere aloft for just more so snow. You might just have enough of a warm nose of air up above our heads for this just to be freezing rain. But a lot of freezing rain could fall. Maybe a tenth of an inch, maybe as high up as a 20th of an inch of ice could occur in these areas right down here. But some of this could fall, and I think it's going to start off as as freezing rain for a lot of these areas, and then maybe briefly switch to a burst of heavy snow into the overnight hours. Does this quite make it to Minneapolis? I think most of it will stay south. So I do think there'll be an area right in here that sees a few inches of snow. And then if we keep going until the sun comes up, we got moisture moving to Chicago. But is it going to be a cold rain, or is it going to be a mix or snow? What is it going to be? We're not quite sure, but I think most of the snow is going to stay north of Chicago. But as far as snowfall from this system, a few inches of snow in areas of southern South Dakota, northern Nebraska, southern Minnesota, northern Iowa over the next 24 hours. But the ice is the real big concern with this. Most people can handle the snow, but some ice totals are getting above a tenth of an inch of ice. This freezing rain and precipitation will begin to develop here in a few hours later into this morning. But I really think that areas in Nebraska, you even got ice showing up in northern areas of Kansas, but Nebraska, the northern to northwest areas of Iowa, you're definitely going to see this ice on the tree limbs. So please be careful in these areas, especially. It will look really pretty, and you guys know all about this weather up here, but you're going to get your ice first, and then some snow can fall and everything. So it'll look really pretty, but it will certainly be dangerous on untreated roads. But I think most roads are treated up there. But frigid up here, just normal December weather into the Ohio Valley. And then it feels like late September, early October in the south, 70s and 80s. So that pretty much breaks it down. There's definitely 3 air masses, if you will. So there's changes coming, guys. There is. This is just a crappy setup for winter weather fans for the eastern U.S. In fact, I think the National Weather Service in Caribou, Maine, which if you don't know where Maine is way up here. It's basically got its own climate, its own weather up here. It's basically way up here, almost not in the Arctic, literally, but normally when you get to this time of the year, when the snow starts to fall, it normally doesn't melt. It normally stays on the ground through most of the winter, but they actually just reported that there is no snow on the ground. Snow depth is down to 0, so that's saying a lot. So, but that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Sorry if I sound different. I barely can breathe right now, but feeling fine, just really stuffed up. But God bless all of y'all. Have yourselves a great day. And stay tuned tonight. A lot of active weather on the way for sure. Talk to y'all later.